all groups are cynical as new leaders come up. Okay, you need to develop a community, a political community, where you can beat that stuff down. But that's not easy to do. Okay, I don't. I'm not a New Yorker, remember, but I have been. Think of it this way: but for Mark Green, who is the Ralph Nader equivalent of the Gore campaign, you would have had a Latino mayor of New York.
Freddie Ferrer.
Yeah, you would have had one. How different would this conversation be?
That's a good point. Yes.
But for Mark Green and 9/11.
Yes.
I mean, things happened, and that Freddie Ferrer was sort of the last of the old generation.
Yes.
It takes a long, and nobody was schooled into the new movement. In the same way that people talk about the old Harlem politicians, the new generation of them is not so obvious. It's not so obvious. The old guys are all, I mean, one of them was my colleague, Mayor Dinkins, but they're kind of out now. And Patterson is the last of them, and he's out, okay? Yeah. So they've got to do the same thing. And Cuomo represents a continuation of an old machine, but a little different than his father, I think. So there is a new movement afoot. In my mind, the Latinos right now are still struggling with the national origin competition. The Puerto Rican, the Dominican,
Colombian,
they all want their own representative.
Yes.
If they don't get past that, they'll never become big players. They've got to get past that to become New York representatives who have insights into major issues.
Maegan, you are much more sanguine, I take it, about this new group coming through.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think, looking at we need to also look at the way that new leadership is being trained now politically, especially if we're talking, about progressive candidates. The way that new leadership is being trained and ordained, if you will, is through these online networks, even, and online support and building communities outside of what you traditionally think about when you think of communities.
Of physical, geographical
it's less
spaces.
door knocking and more Facebooking, will you be my friend, or let me tweet you. So I think a lot of what needs to happen on that level is sort of an integration of old school training, and new school training. And even in the progressive sphere, it is a matter of getting past all of these individual ethnic identities and solidifying one sort of Latino identity, but also just, having financial support that is just also not there. No, I'm surprised that it hasn't been mentioned at all in terms of passing the baton. I think a huge barrier to that is the economic barrier in terms of getting out the vote, promoting yourself in our communities, and I think that's something that needs to be looked at in terms of, campaign financing.